All right, it's 5:30. Appreciate everybody being here tonight. We'll run through the agenda. I think we had one addition, but if there's any changes, we'll get those here. I don't think there were any changes on the minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Appeals, Resolution 23-280, approved TO1 final suspension or revocation. Lori?
Ms. Lemus is here and she'll speak briefly tonight about this, but she's in the process. She does have a check. She's in the process of getting that to the city.
Okay.
So that's where we're at on that.
Okay, and we'll get that update in the regular meeting, and if we need to table, I think we...
So whenever we say check, are we talking a cashier's check?
Right now, it's a check.
I hope the council will give favorable consideration to a cashier's check.
That's what she's working for.
Security
Yeah,
funds.
that was my understanding, was working to get a cashier's check.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, discussion, anything? Okay. All right, public hearings, Resolution 23-281, approved request for alcoholic beverage license by Chow's Seafood, doing business as Chow One Seafood and Steak, Class 1 Lounge.
And y'all already approved this once, and then he realized that they weren't gonna let him use Red Pier, so he's having to come back and ask that it be changed to Chow's.
Okay. Any questions? All right, resolutions. Resolution 23-282, approved special use permit for Verizon Wireless to modify equipment on the existing tower at 4216C Highway 31 South.
No changes unless the council asks questions.
Any questions? Resolution 23-283, approved the purchase of a John Deere 950K Dozer for the landfill.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 23-284, approved the purchase of Aljon Series landfill compactor.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 23-285, approved the purchase of a CAT material handler for the landfill.
No changes.
Any questions? Resolution 23-286, approved the purchase of two Kenworth 2024 T480 refuse trucks with 24-yard New Way automated side loader.
No changes.
Any questions? All right, Resolution 23-287, approved change order 002 for Fire Station 5. Any questions? Resolution 23-288, award bid 23023 to Prime Consulting LLC for temporary staffing services. Okay, any questions? Resolution 23-289, approved CDG proposal agreement for intersection improvements at Beltline Road and Modus Road. Any questions? Resolution 23-290, approved partial bond reduction and refund for McGee Square Townhomes for completed portion of public improvements. All right, any questions? Resolution 23-291, approved Q-Right proposal agreement for addition of the south leg of the signalized intersection at Alabama 67 and Country Club Road Southeast. Any questions? Resolution 23-292, approved purchase of Schwartz Supervac Super Updraft Parking Area Sweeper Engineering Street Department. Any questions? Resolution 23-293, approve end of FY23 budget adjustment.
No changes.
Okay, any questions? And then the addition was Resolution 23-294, award bid 23027 to Rogers Group for mass excavation at Jack Allen Softball Complex. Either one of y'all wanna? Either is fine.
The appropriate changes. Right. Yeah, it's good to go.
It's, can you just briefly tell us what they're doing?
So this was this is great because we'll be able to start, you'll be able to see the first dirt moved on the side. This is to get everything to grade, and it's also to do the concrete parts as far as storm drains, those kind of things. So this is just to get it started, get it to grade, and start getting the infrastructure put in.
Any questions? Good. Anything else, Blake?
This just helps us get as much dry weather this fall as possible by starting.
As soon as possible.
And however my answer was, his would have been a lot better.
No, they're both good. They're both good. All right. Boards and committees, reappoint Nathan Springer, he's here, as Decatur Fire and Rescue designee of the E911 Board, term expiring April 11th, 2027. Any questions? Reappoint Tony Weichert to the E911 Board, term expiring April 11th, 2027. Any questions? All right, we will get started at 6 o'clock. Thanks. Call the meeting to order. Pastor Randy Berry will lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, as we come into your presence, we thank you for being both our creator and our sustainer. We acknowledge that you are a great God and you are an awesome God who alone is worthy of all of our praise. So, Father, we thank you for our city. We thank you for our elected officials. We thank you for the businesses and the churches. And, Father, I thank you for everyone who makes up the great city of Decatur, Alabama. And we ask you to be with our judges, our attorneys, the men and women of our law enforcement. And I ask humbly, Father, that you would keep them safe from harm as they serve our community. I pray for this council meeting tonight. Give each council member the wisdom and the knowledge, the understanding, and the discernment as they deliberate all of the items that is before them tonight. May every decision made here tonight be righteous in your sight. We ask these things humbly in the name of our Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Randy. Roll call.
Lyman.
Here.
Masters.
Here.
Jackson. Fox.
Here.
Pepper.
Here. All right, before we get into the agenda, we've got two signed up for public comments, and I'll start with Christy Anderson. If you'll just come to the podium, and we do, or David. Okay, that's fine. We'll do 3 minutes and just state your name and address.
David Anderson. I live at 4570 Arrowhead Drive Southeast out in Burning Tree. I'm here tonight because of an issue we have with the drainage ditch behind our house. It's a major drainage ditch that flows into Blue Hole Branch, and it drains the backside of Burning Tree Country Club, including our property. The problem is the drainage flow has been impeded by some illegal construction that has been done by my next door neighbor. He has built planters and planted trees, which are now 25, 30 feet tall, that are impeding the flow in the drainage ditch. The mowers cannot mow in that area, and the box and the retaining wall that he constructed next to the outfall of the underground drainage pipe between our houses, it captures flotsam and jetsam and further impedes the flow of water in that area. So our desire is that the city would address this situation and remove the illegal construction that he's made within the city drainage right-of-way and restore the right-of-way to its proper and original condition.
Okay. Mayor, and do we want to, you want to take that?
Sure.
one off?
I'd be glad to. Of course, I've talked with you,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson, I think on 2 different occasions, and shared with you the counsel I've received from our city engineer, and I know you've also talked with others within the city, and I think you've received the same responses that I think we identified that as in a 500-year flood type of situation, that it doesn't propose any type of problems or hazards to your property. And so
Well,
at
I
this
respect
point, I
that.
don't anticipate, unless otherwise told, doing anything else or doing anything along those lines to you, the ditch behind your house.
All right, well, I assume you're basing that on the advice you've been given by city engineer,
Yes, sir.
Carl Pruitt. And
Yes, sir.
I would say that, like Carl, I am also a licensed Alabama professional civil engineer, and I've been doing this longer than Carl has. And I respectfully disagree for several reasons. One, I live there and I see the impact that it's had. And number two, my professional expertise tells me it's an issue. So I take exception with his counsel that he's given you. I think you're giving bad advice.
What type of exception do you take?
Exception do I take?
Yes, sir.
That it definitely does impede the flow, and it poses a potential danger given a large enough flood. I've seen
What would
floods
that
come up.
flood, what would that be? Given a large enough flood, describe that.
One
Define
that would rise higher than ones I've seen in the past.
Yeah, but put that in the terms of likelihood.
I don't know the likelihood. I'm not a weatherman nor.
Okay. Okay.
But I do know that I have seen twice within the time that we've owned that property, that it's gotten to within 2 feet of the edge of my backyard.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, council? Appreciate you coming. I think I appreciate the mayor's comments. We would probably defer to, I'm definitely not an engineer. I understand you are, but we have an engineering department, and personally, we defer to the mayor on operational things, and I think he's taking the advice of our engineering department. I don't really know that we can do anything beyond that, so that's.
Okay, so
that'd be
the
my
city is
comment.
saying that you will not do anything to rectify the situation?
Unless
correct?
the opinion of the engineering department were to change, yes, that's right.
Okay, well, that's fair enough.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. All right, we'll move into approval of minutes. We'll take all these together. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. McMaster. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Minutes are approved 4-0. Next, we have appeals, resolution 23-280, approved TO1, final suspension or revocation. Lori?
Yes, Miss Lynn, if you come up here. She has been working diligently with me to get me everything that I need. She has gotten me everything that I need. She has worked today to pay this, but has run into some issues and would like to speak to y'all about that.
Yes. Well, good evening for all of y'all. And I'm just here we just had a hold on the whole process from bank to bank, and that's what I'm just waiting on. I got the funds for it, and I'm just waiting for that cashier's check to be held to my hands. And I'm just trying to get it as soon as possible. As soon as I get it, that's whenever I'll come up here and pay for it.
We discussed shortly before the meeting, and then with another associate of yours, I talked earlier, so with that, I'll make a motion to table this until October 16th.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Pike to table this suspension or revocation vote, and a second by Mr. Pepper until October 16th, or, yeah. Any discussion on that? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
That table is approved 4-0.
Can you explain what that means?
She does.
Okay,
Yeah.
make sure.
Basically 2 weeks to get the check in. All right, resolution 23-281, approved request for alcoholic beverage license by Chow Seafood Decatur Incorporated, doing business as Chow Wan Seafood and Steak, for Class 1 lounge, on-premise beer, liquor, beer, and wine at 1208 Beltline Road Southwest, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
This is a change in ownership and also a name change as well, and they have satisfied everything we've required.
Okay, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone here to speak on this item, can speak now. All right, seeing no one here to speak, we'll consider the public hearing closed. Motion by Mr. Pike.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pepper. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
No, I'll get to that at the end of the meeting, if that's okay. Yes, sir. Sorry, where were we?
Ladner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-281 is approved 4-0. I know, and I'll go ahead and address it now, your question. We typically have people sign in to speak. If you've got somebody, I know why you guys are here, and want someone or whoever needs to speak, we can do it at the end. Is that, you asked the question, so I don't know if I'm addressing the right person.
Yes, I was just wondering if there was a question time or anything.
Yeah, typically for public comment, we have sign in, but I'll certainly will allow some to speak at the end of the meeting. We'll just we have to know name and address, and we do 3 minutes at the end. So I wanted to answer your question before we moved on, but does that make sense? Yes. Everybody? Okay. We'll just get it at the meeting, at the mic. Resolution 23-282, approves special use permit for Verizon Wireless to modify equipment on existing tower located at 4216C Highway 31 South, Decatur, Alabama.
Good afternoon, President, Council, Mayor. David Andrews with CMS. This resolution is for an application made by T-Mobile to upgrade their equipment, Verizon Wireless to upgrade their equipment on the existing tower at 4216 Highway 31. This is located at the 911 Center. It's a 340-foot guide-foot tower. They're requesting to remove and replace 3 antennas and 6 remote radio units. This is being done for a 5G technology upgrade in that area. And CMS has reviewed the application, recommends approval.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-282 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-283, approve the purchase of a John Deere 950K Dozer for the landfill.
Wanda Tyler, Landfill and Recycling. This 950K dozer, if approved, will replace the 2017 850K, which is a smaller dozer, that we will either sell through Gov Deals or through auction.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pike,
Second.
second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-283 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-284, approve the purchase of an Aljon Series landfill compactor SM1343A.
Yes, this Aljon compactor will replace the 2017 Tana compactor that we purchased. It's on its last leg. More than likely, we'll try to sell it through Gov Deals or through auction.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper,
Second.
second by Mr. Pike, sorry. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-284 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-285, approve the purchase of a CAT material handler for the landfill.
So as you know, at the landfill, we get a lot of storm debris and other debris from contractors. This particular material handler will replace what we call a knuckle boom, which grabs the material and puts it into the grinder. And the good part about this material handler is mobile. A knuckle boom that we have currently is not. So this would be great for our facility.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-285 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-286, approve the purchase of 2 Kenworth 2024 T480 refuse trucks with 24-yard New Way automated side loader.
So as you know, we just received a $680,000 grant from ADEM, and forgot how much. $280,000 will go towards the purchase of these 2 Kenworth refuse trucks, which will replace refuse trucks that we bought in 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pike, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-286 approved 4-0. Resolution 23-287 approved change order 002 for Fire Station 5.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is Nathan Spring with the Fire Department. This change order is to include some adjustments to the flooring, some installation of some light shields, and also some variants from DU for the water valve at the roadway. This will save the city well over $23,000 in the construction of Station 5.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMaster.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pepper. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
McMasters.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-287 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-288, award bid 23023 to Prime Consulting LLC for temporary staffing services.
Yes, sir. Jeremy Sherrill with purchasing here for the city. Bid opening was hosted on July the 6th. 5 firms responded, and we are recommending that we stay with Prime Consulting as the lowest responsible bidder.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McMaster, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-288 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-289, approved CDG proposal agreement for intersection improvements at Beltline Road and Modus Road.
Yes, Mayor, Council, this is an agreement with CDG to basically look at the signal and the timing, to see if we can lengthen the turn lane, and also look at the Fairgrounds and Modus Road intersection to try to make sure those two lights coordinate together.
That fairgrounds and Modus Road intersection, that thing is horrible.
At
Sat there
times
for
it
5
can
minutes the other night.
Times it can be, yes.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-290, approved partial bond reduction and refund for McGee Square Townhomes for completed portion of public improvements.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request to reduce a cash bond. The reduction amount will be $94,500, and we will maintain $7,500 for improvements not completed.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-290 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-291, approved Pewright proposal agreement for addition of the south leg of the signalized intersection at Alabama 67 and Country Club Road Southeast.
Yes, Mayor, Council, this is the hire Pewright McAnally to design the signal intersection change to add that a fourth leg or southbound approach going to the property to the south for potential development.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-291 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-292, approved purchase of Schwartz Supervac Super Updraft Parking Area Sweeper Engineering Street Department.
Yeah, with the construction of our new parking deck, our current sweepers are too tall to go into the parking deck, so this is the purchase of sweeper for us to help try to maintain and keep the parking deck clean.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster. Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-292 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-293, approved end of FY23 budget adjustment.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Dawn Roniger, Finance Department. We have a resolution to just get us across the finish line for FY23.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? We talked about it a little bit last week. There was just some overtime, I think, with Point Mallard and Parks and Rec. Is that correct? I think we got clarification on it this week, unless anybody else has questions.
And temp services,
Yeah.
overtime and temp services.
We were very blessed.
Yeah. Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-293 is approved 4-0. Resolution 23-294, award bid number 23027 to Rogers Group for mass excavation at Jack Allen Softball Complex.
Mayor, Council, Blake McAnally with Pewright McAnally, 310 8th Avenue Southeast. On behalf of the Parks and Rec Department, we did let the bid for this project, and we did have one bidder, Rogers Group. The bid did come in under the estimate, and we've reviewed the bid, certified the bid, and are recommending this evening that you award this contract. Allow this work to get underway.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call.
Wagner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 23-294 is approved 4-0. Boards and committees, reappoint Nathan Springer
So
as
moved.
Decatur Fire and Rescue designee to the E911 Board. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call?
Lightner.
Aye.
McMaster. Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
The reappointment of Nathan Springer is approved 4-0. Reappoint Tony Whitekert to the E911 Board, term expiring April 11th, 2027.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call?
Lightner.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pike. Pepper.
Aye.
Reappointment of Tony Whitekert is approved 4-0. All right, we reached the end of the agenda, so if there's some that want to come speak, just come one at a time to the podium. We'll just need to know your name and address, and then we do 3 minutes at the podium. Yes, sir. Yeah. And just kind of give a little bit of guidelines here, addressing the council, just with comments, concerns, and we don't, it's not like a Q&A, but just kind of give your, kind of why you're here and tell us what you want to tell us, and then if there's a need for a response, we'll do our best to respond. So, yes, sir.
My name is Terrence Baker. Address, can I write my address down?
Yes,
so it
sir.
won't be public?
Yeah. You can do it when you leave
Okay.
the podium. It'll be right here on the front.
I'm Terrence. I'm here with the family of Clay Perkins, Steve Perkins. As you all know, he was, murdered late Friday morning. Police shooting. I don't know how to say it without saying that. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Without saying, that it was a police shooting or whatever, But we're here it's a few things that we wanted to address. And we had questions about, to see that, to just try to get on one accord with the board, with everyone in the city, So one of the questions that the family had was, is there a way that we can establish a community review board to investigate allegations of police misconduct? Right now, we know that that's something that's handled internal. So we were just wondering if there was a way that we as the people could be in on that, or just some kind of board, but just, that's one thing. And also, of course, we want the body cams and the dash cams and the pictures, all of the photos, of what happened, from the police, and not just the murder, but the actual communication with the tow truck driver as far as, hey, what we're gonna do, we're about to go over here, or whatever happened, that conversation. So that was something. And also, on something else, drones. I've seen a lot of drones flying in the city by the city police. They actually, we were at my family's bar right on 12th Avenue, Moulton Street, and they will sit there for 30 minutes at a time, just watching. We haven't called or anything, and just, wondering if that's lawful, if there's something that we should address, because as the people, we would rather see lights. We would rather see a police identify himself, not, and when we do call them up there to clear our parking lot, they will come to the back, cut the lights off, and they will walk around the front of the building of the club with their flashlights looking in cars and all of that. If we call to just de-escalate or just clear our parking lot, you come in with lights on, that's all it needs. Everyone goes home, but we're just trying to wonder why there is some kind of other, what else are you looking for you not to just come to the owners of the building, hey, we called you, hey, let's discuss this and let's fix that matter. So, yeah, that was just one thing, drones flying. And just what allows the police to come on a call without showing their lights or identifying themselves, so that's about it. Name of officers involved, there's only one on leave, when there were 3 that were actually physically present. So just a few questions that we have as a people and a family.
Yes, sir.
So to stop you just to add something, just to say something. This has been a large thing. A lot of people have requested the camera footage of this incident, and obviously this is something that's wanted by the family. To address it from a personal standpoint and a city side, there is a law that actually prevents us from releasing that, prevents the police from releasing that footage. It was passed this year, and it went into effect September 1st. And the law states that the Alabama law enforcement agency who investigates that matter can release it, but to my understanding, there's the law that went into, where's Captain, can you comment?
Can we let Herman address the legal?
Yeah.
Herman is our city attorney.
Yeah, Herman's our city attorney.
I understand your question. Ms. Sherry.
Terrence, do you mind letting him use the mic there? buddy?
That way
You
people
can
can
stay.
hear.
All right, basically what Mr. The council member, Hunter Pepper, has stated is in September, there was a law passed to give us some guidance as a city on how we can respond to those kind of questions. Once it's turned over to an independent law enforcement agency, which is in this case ALEA, then ALEA will determine and control the release of any information. We as a city do not want to do anything other than provide as quickly as we can any information they may need so they can do an effective review of the matter. And that's where we are.
But I just do want to just clarify, we're not, that law was not saying it would never be released. It's that
Yes,
the group that is investigating it has that authority to do that until their investigation is over, and then after that, there will be communication with the ALEA.
Yes, that's right. Until they finish their investigation, they will determine the timing of that. Our role is to try to make that as quickly accomplished as possible.
Because we know that it's a law that you can't release it to the public, but as far as to his estate, if they were to request that footage, does it still get held into?
The law is very clear. It states who you can release it to at the appropriate time. And family is certainly one of them, but at this point, it can't be released to anybody other than what ALEA decides. But we don't want you to think, well, the city's trying to keep, because y'all got we all have legitimate questions, and that's the purpose in doing this.
And one other thing, I just want to clarify, because before I was sitting here, I would not have known this. You know, ALEA, we say ALEA, that's the state law enforcement. So the state is investigating.
It used to be the state troopers.
Yeah. Okay. It's not the city is not doing the investigation. The state is, and so we're at kind of their mercy, I guess, on what they can release what they want to. We can't as a city. So until that investigation is over.
Okay. So if I may.
Yes, sir.
So there was a statement that was put out.
Do you mind coming to the mic? There's people watching.
So there was a statement put out about 6 or 7 o'clock that Friday morning of the aggressiveness of Steve. He was ordered to put the gun down and all of that. But camera footage showed otherwise. Can there be a recanted statement, or can there be a, you know what, I don't know how it happens, but can there be, like, for the family's sake, and not for the family's sake, for Steve's sake, for his character, for the person he was, nobody has ever seen him aggressive, you know, or belligerent, you know what I mean? So when it's put out there that, hey, this person is this, he acts like that. So my picture, before I even knew anything, I woke up and it's like, dang, Steve went crazy, came out there waving a gun at the police, you know, because that's what the statement led people to believe. And as a city, as a people, as a family, I feel like that statement should be recanted, as far as, I don't know if it was a mistake that was made, if there wasn't a full investigation, if one of the officers were startled and they just said something, you know what I mean? But the footage didn't show aggressiveness, you know, so.
I don't want to speak out of turn. All I can tell you is I do believe our police department, if they feel like they made a statement that was incorrect and they are able to find that evidence that shows it was, they're going to if we put out a wrong statement, the right thing to do is to put out a right statement. So I think if they find the same thing you say you are seeing, I think that would happen. I hope it would.
That'll be amazing.
So that's all I can say. Now, that's some different interpretations maybe.
Right. But that's good
I hear
conversation.
you, man.
Terrence, I would think, or if I call you Terrence,
Yes, that's fine. You can call me T if you want to, Terrence.
I would think the Aaliyah, what they come out with in evidence will be that final statement.
Okay.
There is what they produce as evidence.
Okay,
Will
so
be-
not the actual city,
That's right.
because the city was.
I would say I hope, Mayor, and I don't want to.
No, you're good.
I would hope if we feel like, based on that evidence that comes from Aaliyah or other evidence that we had, and again, we're treading lightly on,
Right,
I don't, you know more than I do,
Right,
honestly. You've seen more than, but we would do the right thing and say, that wasn't correct, this is what happened. So I think if that were the case.
Right, because there was a video showing police officers hiding behind a car and sending another police cop down the street to get out your car, and it's like a stakeout, like an ambush. So, I would like
It's just
us to
hard
look
for
into
us,
that.
man, I know, I don't want to hide behind anything, I'm not hiding behind, but it's hard for us to sit up here and the state knows a lot more than we do. And man, like as much as I want to be able to tell you everything, I want to know too. I don't know.
And that's why we came in, just to kind of shed light on the parts that we know that you guys might not know.
And I also want to say, I really appreciate how you asked those. I think they're valid questions, and I appreciate you coming in here and asking them. I don't think any of these guys have all those answers. I wish we did.
This our city.
Yeah.
So whatever questions come out, I would hope that we could all come together.
Yeah.
Hey, look, let's find out a problem. Let's be proactive about things. We'll handle this different, even if it was silver mat or whatever it may be. Like, we as a community want to see more of involvement. You know what I mean? Decatur it's a separation here. You know what I mean? And even with the officers, you know what I mean? I have a nonprofit organization here, so even with the relationship between the chief and the officers and the people, like, we don't know. We see Decatur is small enough for our police officers to come in, hey, let's have a community affair, let's go play kickball. If it's 4 or 5 officers, let's put things together. But even when we put events together, we try to bring everyone together, our people or anything. When the officers come, it's not like a friendly thing. It's like so I just want us to get a better relationship with each other so we can run Decatur. Decatur is gonna be here forever. So we want Decatur to move smoothly. We want everyone to work with each other. Everyone is equal here, so we just want relationships where I want to be able to come into this council meeting and sit here every time, but I also want to know about it. You know what I mean? I want to see a flyer or something that says, hey, Decatur City Council, hey, if you have anything to say, hey, it's open to the public. We didn't know it was open to the public until someone told us. You know what I mean? But why are we not welcomed? Why are we not invited to what's going on in the city?
There's not enough community engagement. That's what is that
Yes, right.
Well, but Terrence, you are. Everybody is. This is a public meeting, and one of the most difficult and challenging things that municipalities across the nation have to do right now is communicate with their constituents. And it's not just here in Decatur, Alabama. It's from sea to shining sea.
Decatur is the only thing I see. Decatur is what's important. Decatur, if we get Decatur right, like, we don't gotta worry about what's going on in Huntsville. I don't care about all the big buildings and all of this. We want community involvement. We want a loving city,
So Terrence, we do communicate.
Okay.
But these days, not everybody is watching the news. Not everybody gets the newspaper. Not everybody looks at social media. So
let's come up with some tactics, Tab.
It really is. It's really challenging to get that word out. even in your own community.
But I
In our
get,
community. Now, I want to go to something else that you talked about, if I may.
okay.
The citizen review. Chief, we have one, don't we? Citizen Advisory Board, so a difference in names, okay? So we have a Citizens Advisory Board. Okay?
Okay.
So
Citizen
know that
advisory.
we addressed one of your questions there.
I appreciate you.
And it's made up of a cross-section of our community? Okay, thank you.
Again, I wish we had more answers. I think we all, Chief included, want more answers, and we will get those. You know, I think the state, the reason you bring them in, they're an outside agency. We're not investigating ourselves. So I think we'll get those answers, and I hope we get them sooner rather than later. You're always welcome to come to a council meeting. And I would say most districts, my district, nobody ever comes to the meeting to talk to me. So I came to one council meeting actually and got booed out of it before I was here. But you're always welcome. I think we do need to have that dialogue, not just one district to another, but everybody together.
Even if it's just pointing out a district leader. You know, I know y'all are the councilman, but even if it's like, hey, who stays in this district that has a voice or that could, you know, I know a lot of people, not saying that I want to know them, you know what I mean? But I know a lot of people and very influential about getting people to come and be involved in the right thing, because we're just trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming.
Thank y'all so much. I think
Yes, sir.
It's just the city clerk.
Thank you. She ain't gonna come to me.
Yes, sir.
I think you got your name down. Just write your address there, please.
And just state your name, and you don't have to state your address, but if you don't want to state it, just make sure to write it down before you leave.
I appreciate your guys' time for letting me speak. My name's Justin Shepard. I'm a retired Army sergeant. I'm also a disabled veteran. I'm a resident of Ryan Drive, and the ambush of Steve Perkins that happened right across the street from me. And I wanted to come and express my disgust with the fact that my house was pumped full of ammunition and not one person from the city has contacted me. And when I talked to the police officers on scene, they said, you have no rights and that you don't get no advocate or anything because you're not a victim. I was in bed sleeping and rounds come pumping in my home. How do you guys think that makes me feel? What do you think that makes me think of? But I'm not a victim. And when I exited the house, I wasn't allowed to enter back in because my house was now a crime scene and I have back issues and everything else. I had to sit out on my driveway. I mean, and then I had to approach Aaliyah asking permission to enter back into my home. I mean, and like I said, nobody's contacted me. And then Decatur Police Department's answer was, file a homeowner's insurance policy. I have a $2,000 deductible. Do I eat this month or do I fix my home? I don't think it's right that I should have to sit there and spill out $2,000 for 16 holes in my house. Wow. I don't have electricity to half of my house, but that's okay. I'm not a victim. I want to know what you guys are going to do. Why do I have to come up here? Why did anybody, and it doesn't even have to be Aaliyah. I wasn't even a part of the situation. But my life was put at risk. A disabled veteran. I put my life on the line for this country. And I'm not a victim. Nobody's advocating on my behalf. No attorneys reached out to me. Nobody sat there and done anything. But I'm supposed to go home every night and look at the assassination attempt on me. I mean, I'm looking to you guys for answers. Because, like I said, I'm a retired Army sergeant. Responsibility starts at the top. I mean, and if you guys aren't getting answers, then you guys need to put heat under somebody else's rear. Because I think that's ridiculous. What if it was your guys' house? One of the rooms that had the bullet go through was where guests, when they have kids, that's where they sleep. What if one of you guys slept at my house and had your kids sleeping in that room? I mean, it makes me sick every night, knowing that I'm not safe in my own home as a veteran. I have a security system. I have locks. But I'm not safe because somebody had a badge and a gun, and now I'm not a victim. But if any one of these people were to have sat there and put one round through my home, they'd be in jail. They wouldn't even be on administrative leave or anything like that. I'm waiting for any answers. I mean, this is, well, what are you guys gonna do? I mean, do I get an advocate? I mean, you know how many times I've called the Veterans Crisis Line this weekend? I've called it 3 times. That's the same as calling 911. And the sad part is most of those crisis people are meant for people wanting to commit suicide. So I still don't even get the help from the VA from that. I called my therapist Friday. They weren't in. Even though it was an emergency, they weren't in. Who do I talk to? There was nobody from the city saying, if you need counseling, we have a counselor here. I'm not asking for somebody to say, hey, this is my fault. I'm not asking that. I'm just asking for it to be made right and me to be treated with respect as a veteran living within the city.
Mr. Shepherd, if you will, there's my business card. I'm Tab Bowling. I serve as the mayor. There's an office number there. If you'll call it tomorrow, get you connected with someone that does insurance claims on behalf of the city.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you said Brian, he said Brian Drive.
Oh, do I have to sign?
Brian Drive, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone else that wanted to speak? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Staniford, and I want to make it clear that I do not speak for the family of Steve Perkins. I did not know him personally. I have lived in Decatur for about 8 years, and there's been many moments that I've been disappointed in this city, but never to the extent of this week. I'm sorry if this makes you uncomfortable, but you know what else is uncomfortable? Getting mowed down in your front yard. Steve can't be here, but we're all here. This is absolutely unacceptable. And you know what? I've served some of you at my job. I've worked at multiple restaurants around here. I've been a business owner here. And if I mess up at my job, you know what happens to me? I get fired. I don't have income anymore. They can kill somebody, and we don't even get to know their names. You get to go on leave. You get a paid vacation. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. I yield my time because you don't need to be hearing from me. You don't need to be hearing from another white guy. You need to listen to this family. And if you want to protect and serve, lay down your badge and come stand out with us and actually help your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Name and address, please.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Tamara Johnson. I think a lot of you, I just work for the city, so I think, you know, a lot of y'all may have saw me or whatever. But I just want to say, I mean, what's the protocol for when they reach out to his wife? Tab finally came by last night, finally, but the police chief, they have yet to call her and tell her, your husband is deceased. She know because of neighbors. Police never notified her, never contacted her till this day. And Chief, I feel like you should have notified her. Somebody should have notified her. She found out by neighbors. That's, I mean, what's the protocol? What's the protocol for when you pull up to somebody's house that you don't go and make yourself known? I mean, y'all pull up, they hid the cars, no lights in sight, but they behind bushes and behind a car, and draw him out with the tow truck driver. They never knocked on that door on none of the videos. I've seen plenty of them. I'm very close to the family. I've seen plenty of them. They never knocked on the door and said, hey, Decatur Police Department. Is that protocol? I mean, what's the protocol for when you approach someone's house, even if he told you, hey, he got a gun or whatever? What is the protocol? Shouldn't they have he'd been known that it was the police outside? They should have made contact with him? What's the protocol for that? Is it different for, excuse me when I say it, and I'm not, is it different for brown-skinned people than it is lighter-toned people? I mean, what's the protocol for that? I want to ask the chief. Can you answer that?
Well, in this.
I understand you all are up here, but he's in here. He can talk.
And it's Herman, can you,
Well, let me share with you, we're not trying to, all we're trying to do, but we're not able as a city, whether it's the police department, the council, or anybody else to answer, those are great questions, but those questions will have to be answered by an independent law enforcement agent. We're not able, we do not wish to put ourselves in a posture where we're trying to interfere with their investigation. So, we're not saying you don't have good questions.
What about the Decatur protocol?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
The protocol, we're not able to respond to that question. That's gotta go to the law enforcement
so the-
independent agency.
can you answer this, Herman?
Uh-huh.
I think it may help, may not.
Yeah, we wanna try to help.
But the investigation would say if protocol was not followed. Is that true?
We
The
want to have a
state-
thorough review by.
The state will say whether or not protocol was followed in this situation. So,
So the state will answer the question there.
yes.
And we're not trying to shift it to them.
We don't wanna
Right now,
speak
that's
for
who's
them
got it,
either,
okay?
but-
Yeah, that's who has that, this is who's got the review of this matter.
It's
And
a
we're not able
hierarchy,
to
it's a
comment.
hierarchy, and I'm a businessman, so we under.
Yeah, that's right. That's where, yeah, we're not saying you don't have good questions, we're not saying that, okay?
But before reaching out to the wife, what is the protocol today? Shouldn't the police have notified her? I know that's just common courtesy, really.
I don't know the
Well,
protocol
that's
there.
Yes.
If they choose to.
Yeah, anyway,
Wow.
we've answered.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, I appreciate it.
If they have the heart to.
Maybe.
Anybody
I'm not
else
sure if
wanting
I'm
to say a word?
Okay.
I'll say one
You
thing
can-
and
you can
we'll
write-
end the
just write
meeting and
that, that'll be fine.
I'll answer any questions outside, if you guys have any. I appreciate you guys coming. I appreciate the questions. I think what Herman said is right. There's some things I learned tonight that I didn't know. There's just no way I would have known those because we're not involved in that investigation. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys coming and the way you've asked these questions. I think will be helpful. But we'll hopefully have a speedy answer from the state. And then I think there will be more answers. There may still be some questions, but I think you'll have more answers, and so will we. Definitely appreciate the manner in which you guys came in. So there's not a lot I can say to help. We have no idea. I mean, it's handled in Montgomery by a group out of Montgomery. I mean, it's the State Law Enforcement Association. And again, I don't know the answers, but I'm glad to stand outside and you guys can ask me. And if I know, there's not a lot I'm gonna know, but, and I'm sorry for that. So, where are we? All right, I gotta read the next meeting. Next council work session will be held, on October 9th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Next regular council meeting will be held on October 16th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Directors, anything to add? Mayor?
No, sir.
Council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks.